Have you ever felt that chill crawling up your spine when you realize you're completely alone? Picture this. It's just past sunset. The hallways of the school have emptied, and my footsteps echo against lockers that seem to whisper secrets. This is my walking alone from school horror story. And in today's animated horror stories episode, I'm diving into every pulse-pounding moment that turned a simple walk home into a nightmare. I'm Alex, and like so many students, I stayed late after class to finish a project. As the last bell rang, I should have felt relief. But the dim lighting and deserted corridors stirred something deep inside me. The familiar route through the back gate transformed into a shadowy tunnel, with rustling leaves and distant noises, playing tricks on my mind. Every creak of a branch or flutter of trash against the pavement felt like a warning, an unseen presence, just out of sight. This story isn't about jump scares or cheap thrills. It's about the raw vulnerability of feeling exposed when no one's around to hear you scream. In this animated retelling, I'll introduce you to the friends who waited up for me, the school janitor who warned me to stay on lit paths, and the flickering street lamp that became the only beacon between safety and fear. By the time I stepped through my front door, my heart was still racing, but I had made it home. Yet even now, whenever I pass that old school gate, the memory of that solitary walk reminds me how thin the line can be between normal and terrifying. Let's dive in. It all started earlier that week. Our school had been acting off. The power flickered randomly during class, lights buzzing like they were short-circuiting. Some students joked about ghosts, but others, like Sarah, my classmate, swore they'd seen something strange near the old science block. I brushed it off. I mean, it's just a school, right? Creaky floors and bad wiring. Still, I couldn't ignore how uneasy I felt that Friday evening. I remember looking around as I packed my bag in the empty classroom. The sun was already dipping behind the trees outside, casting long shadows across the desks. My phone buzzed. It was my mom, reminding me not to take the shortcut home. She always worried about that narrow back alley behind the school. But I was tired, and the shortcut saved 10 minutes. I didn't think twice. As I stepped outside, the wind picked up, and the temperature dropped fast. Leaves skittered across the ground, and the usual hum of traffic was strangely silent. I passed by the janitor's office. He was locking up and paused when he saw me. "Don't take that alley," he muttered without even looking at me. "Not tonight." Before I could ask why, he was already gone. That's when I noticed the gate to the alley was slightly open. It's usually locked. Something about it felt wrong, but curiosity mixed with habiton, I pushed it open. That one choice would change everything. The moment I stepped inside, it felt like I wasn't alone anymore. The alley was quiet, too quiet. The usual buzzing of streetlights was gone, and the air felt thick, like it was holding its breath. My footsteps echoed against the narrow walls, and every sound seemed to bounce back louder than it should. I kept telling myself it was just a shortcut, just a quiet evening, but my gut said otherwise. I kept looking over my shoulder, even though no one was there, at least, no one I could see. About halfway through, I heard its soft, dragging footsteps behind me. I froze. The hairs on my neck stood up. When I turned around, nothing. Just the empty path and the faint rustle of wind. I tried to laugh it off, but my hands were shaking. I picked up my pace, eyes darting left and right. That's when I saw it movement in the corner of my eye. A shadow, not mine. It moved when I didn't. I rushed forward, heart pounding, and tried to focus on the exit, but the alley seemed longer than usual, like it was stretching out with every step. That's when I remembered what Sarah told me earlier that day. She mentioned someone had gone missing last year, someone who also used this same alley after staying late. The school never made an announcement. It was just brushed under the rug. I tried calling Sarah, but there was no signal. My phone screen flickered. Another glitch, or maybe not. Something was wrong, and whatever it was, it knew I was there, watching, waiting. I was almost running now. The air felt heavier with every step, like something invisible was pulling me back. My backpack slammed against my shoulders as I moved, and the walls of the alley seemed to close in tighter. Every few seconds, I thought I heard breathing, not mine. Low, steady, and close. Too close. I didn't dare stop. I couldn't. Then, all at once, I heard it. A whisper, not loud, but sharp enough to freeze me in place. It said my name, clear, slow, drawn out, like it had been waiting to speak. I spun around, phone light shaking in my hand, scanning every corner. Nothing, just damp bricks and shadows. But the whisper didn't stop. It came again, this time from the opposite side. My heart was thudding so loud I could barely hear anything else. I backed up until my foot hit something solid. I turned and froze. There was a figure at the end of the alley, not walking, not moving, just standing, silhouetted under the broken street. No face, no sound, just there. My throat tightened. I couldn't scream. I couldn't move. The figure didn't blink. It didn't even breathe. Suddenly, all the lights in the alley buzzed back to life for a split second, just long enough for me to see it clearly. Its eyes, not human, glowing and staring straight at me. Then darkness again. My phone died in my hand. I was trapped, alone, and whatever it was coming closer. My hands were numb, and my breath came out in short, shaky bursts. I backed up slowly, not daring to take my eyes off the spot where the figure had been. But now, it was gone. The street lamp above flickered once more, casting a ghostly light on the alley on. That's when I saw it. Footprints, wet, dark, and fresh. They weren't mine. They led from the middle of the alley, straight toward me. I stumbled back, heart hammering in my chest, when something brushed past my shoulder. I spun around, but again nothing, just air. Cold, heavy air. But it wasn't just fear anymore. It was something else. Like I was being pulled into something deeper, something I didn't understand. Then, from the corner of the alley, a door creaked open. It had never been there before. I would have noticed, led into the basement of the old science block. Same building Sarah had mentioned earlier. For a second, I thought about turning back, running home, forgetting everything. But something stopped me. A sound, faint, muffled. It was Sarah's voice. I swear it was her, calling my name, over and over, like a broken recording. She had gone missing after school yesterday. No one had seen her since. I thought she went home early. I stepped toward the open door. My hand trembled as I reached for it. This wasn't just a shortcut gone wrong anymore. This was something deeper, something the school didn't want anyone to know. And I was already in too deep to walk away. The old basement door groaned louder as I pushed it open, revealing a narrow staircase disappearing into darkness. The air coming out felt damp and stale, like it hadn't been touched in years. I hesitated, then heard Sarah again. Clearer this time. "Alex, help me." That was all I needed. I stepped in and closed the door behind me. Each stair creaked under my weight as I made my way down, guided only by the faint blue glow of an emergency light flickering far below. The space opened into what looked like a forgotten storage area, old desks, broken lab equipment, and shattered glass everywhere. But what made my stomach drop was what I saw next. In the center of the room stood a mirror, tall, cracked down the middle, and glowing faintly in its reflection. I saw her, Sarah, standing just behind me. I turned around instantly, but no one was there. Looked back at the mirror, and now the figure was moving closer in the reflection. I backed away, panic flooding my chest, but the room around me stayed still. That's when it hit me. The mirror wasn't showing reality, it was showing what was trapped. Sarah wasn't in the room, she was inside the mirror, and so was the thing pretending to be her voice. I reached out, drawn to it, when suddenly a freezing hand grabbed my wrist from behind. I twisted around, expecting that figure again. But it wasn't what I thought. It was the janitor. "You weren't supposed to find this," he whispered. "Now it's too late." Before I could speak, the mirror shattered on its own. Everything went dark. When I woke up, I was back at the school gates. No phone, no bag, just a strange cut on my palm and my name scratched into the bricks behind me, as if I had never left that alley at all. I stood there at the school gate, staring at the wall where my name was scratched in, still not sure if I was awake or trapped in some twisted dream. The streets were quiet again, like nothing had happened. I checked my wrist, the cut was still there, fresh. My phone and bag were gone, but somehow I knew I wasn't supposed to go back for them. I walked home in silence, every shadow now carrying a weight I'd never felt before. The next day at school, no one mentioned anything. Sarah's desk was still empty, but her name had vanished from the attendance list, like she'd never been enrolled. When I asked around, people just gave me confused looks. Even her social media was gone, erased like she'd been pulled out of this world completely. Only I remembered her. I passed by the alley again that afternoon. The gate was locked tight, with a rusted chain. I didn't try to open it. I knew better now. The basement door was gone, too, just a brick wall where it had been. Whatever that mirror was, it was part of something the school was hiding, something they've hidden,